I asked Matt if he would read some of his poems, and he graciously agreed. Please enjoy these three poems by Matt Germoso.
The poem I'd like to read is called Fish Out of Water. It's basically about how this quote that I heard, and it basically made me think about like how I've chosen to spend my life trying to convince people that I'm not mentally ill, and how doing that kind of, you know, made me feel like I could perform better than anybody in a pinch, but it was like ultimately miserable. It was like hard. It wasn't just because I could look normal doesn't mean I felt it. And I don't know. The poem kind of explains itself. So we'll get into it. It was once said, everyone's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, that fish will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. I wish I'd read that quote before spending the last half of my life defining my worth by my ability to not be mentally ill. I was raised on food stamps and Darwinism. In hindsight, a horrendous contradiction, but I feared living with a crutch nonetheless. Because the lame don't survive in the wild, I am a wounded animal. I bite first not to be fucked with. I am not handy-capable. I don't have time to be potential. I am kinetic. I have to learn more, do more, feel more, fuck more, drink more, numb more, be more, so I can seem less. Less out of whack, less out of the loop, less bipolar, less I missed the fucking memo on how to be a person. I never learned how to do the cha-cha slide or watch The Little Mermaid because I spent my childhood trying to get ahead of the game, so you never catch me falling behind. I grind my tragedies between my teeth, wash them down with a liter of whiskey, and fall in love to rinse my mouth. I can't let them know I'm sick, and so I cut my skin so it grows back thick. Don't let them know, don't let her in. Don't show up to your friend's funeral, they'll see you weak. Learn more, do more, feel more, fuck more, drink more, numb more, be more, seem less. Don't break, drink more. On nights that I still feel her tracing my skin, I carve with razors to erase the fucking places she's been. I've got shit to do, I've got appearances to keep up. When I fall in love again, I will let her in. She will trip over my baggage and get caught in my throat, from where her siren song will sing for the next 2 years. When she breaks up with my mental illness, they will tell me there are plenty more fish in the sea, and I will ask them to find one that can climb a tree better than I can.
That's great.
Thank you. All right. This next poem doesn't have a title, but I wrote it recently. But about like it's around the time that I started getting back into the poetry scene. I just started. I had been out of the poetry scene for a couple of years while I was going through my own personal struggles, and my own recovery and everything like that. So I came back and I was like ready to go full throttle. I wanted to come and start just writing poems and performing them, and the explosive start is not what I had. I like was ready. I had all this motivation, and I went to write, and it was like nothing. Like so, it was like all this build up, right, and then just a fizzle. So I wrote a poem about how I couldn't write poems, and like and it worked out, I think, pretty well. So, here's the untitled poem. I wish that I could sharpen a pencil on my writer's block. It's the late nights when I'm furthest away from my last dose of medication that the words come to me again. They used to paint the walls of my mind like a Pollock. All it took to piece together a poem was to reach out into the void of my misery and grab tragedy by the throat, slam it against my canvas, and watch the creativity seep out. I would bleed my brain of all its maladies, throw a little grit in my voice to match the harshness of the whiskey. I would down to throw up the stanzas and proceed to beat my own ass in public. Boy, was it a spectacle. If you know, you know. But my abilify doesn't abilify me the way that I want it to. I want to be able to have the creativity of insanity without the hurts, habits, and hang-ups. I want my bipolar disorder to be my superpower without having to be my arch nemesis at the same time. I want to write music again. But the problem is, I need problems to write about. I used to be a welling cesspool of inspiration. I was like a vending machine, insert substances for entertainment. I bore auroras from my pain. I could light up a room with my self deprecation, would put on live exorcisms for the sake of being artistic. But the thing about when I had it easy as a poet was that poetry wasn't a hobby, it was a byproduct. It was the substance released by the digesting of life. It was a necessity. It was a ride I couldn't get off of. I needed it to function. And the thing is that I don't anymore. The fucked up thing is that I catch myself still wishing that I did. I miss the chaos. I miss bleeding out loud. I miss having a reason to. The sigh of relief from getting a weight off your shoulders requires a burden to begin with. I miss biting off more than I can chew so that I could learn how to chew it. I miss my life being a total fucking wreck because there was beauty in that sadness. I hate that I'm writing this. I hate that I'm lying about hating writing this. The truth is, I miss poetry in a lot of the same ways I miss drugs and alcohol. I miss having an excuse for all of the above, but I have taken my life back, mixed my misery in the mortar, and laid bricks for my foundation. There will be no need to rebuild this time around, and that scares the ever-living shit out of me because that means I'm married to what I build. And I haven't made the best choices historically. I don't need to fall apart and pick the pieces back up anymore, but there was a cold comfort to that, like the other side of a pillow. And when tossing and turning at night was all I ever did, that was one of the only comforts I knew. But maybe poetry isn't like drugs and alcohol. Maybe it's like God. Maybe it's something I can have as much as I want of and it won't be bad for me. Maybe this isn't goodbye. Maybe it's like a relationship. Maybe I have to work for it. Just because it doesn't come like a torrent anymore doesn't mean it isn't for me. Maybe this is where I say I can still have this. Maybe the writer's block is just a dam and the words are waiting for me, plentiful as ever before, on the other side. Maybe misery never had a thing to do with it, so I'm taking my pencil and I'm chipping away at my writer's block, a night at a time. I'm going to let diligence be my new superpower. I'm looking forward to the flood. This next poem is about an email that I got at work. And it's funny, I don't know why. I read the subject line of the email and it just made me think something funny. So I happen to be in recovery, right? I've been sober for 2 years and 4 months now. And I used to be really self-deprecating about it. Like that would be all of my personality, was just introducing people and, hey, I used to do this, that, the other. And it's funny that I stopped doing that now, but like I still have those zingers come in my head sometimes. So when I read this email subject line, I immediately was just like, and I thought of something funny, and it bloomed into a poem. So here we go. My job's well-being program department sent me an email that said, "It's a beautiful day to start again." I am an addict. I immediately hear Billy Idol's White Wedding start playing in my head. I think to myself, it is a beautiful day to start again. Then I snap out of it and tell myself I'm being silly, only to look at the email subject line that reads, "Come back and see what you've been missing." Which in my addict mind might as well read, "You won't." I start to wonder what it would be like to throw away 2 years sobriety. Would my first hit taste like my mother's tears? Losing my sisters again on the inhale, homeless sidewalk sleeping on the exhale. It's a beautiful day to start again. I can smell the motel room carpets I surfed to find the drugs I spilled. I can feel the itching paranoia of eyes that aren't there staring daggers into my skin. It's like I can ride the interrupted rush of heart palpitations. I can see it all. And one would think, why would you want any of that? Because it's a beautiful day to start again. I know because my job told me so. And my job couldn't possibly be wrong. As a matter of fact, my job is an outpatient clinic for substance use. Clearly, someone had me in mind when they sent that email. They must want me to be funner at parties. I once did coke with a guy in a Barney suit who never took the head off the entire time, just shoved the straw through the nose holes that I think were actually where his eyes were. For all I know, I did coke with the actual Barney. I know how to party when I'm on one. If you don't count the nights I cry, or fight, or puke, or get arrested, or make someone cry by puking during a fight while getting arrested. It's a beautiful day to start again, said the email from my job, that I'm pretty sure just wants me back as a patient. See, I took my time at the outpatient clinic serious because I arrived with the gift of desperation. The destination was anywhere but here, anywhere but where I'd been. So I poured my heart out to my counselors, I took my medication, I attended groups, I was open to suggestions. They said go to meetings and so I went. They said find God and so I did. I was beaten completely docile by my addiction, whipped into submission by the chaos my life had assumed. But still, it's a beautiful day to start again. Past is just the past, right? They say I have an allergy to drugs because when I do them, I break out in handcuffs. But who's to say I'll get arrested again? Lightning doesn't strike twice, or so I'm told. I told my dad about this poem, and he told me every day is a beautiful day to start again, but in the best way. And I think about that every morning I wake up and take my medication, which is my saying, fuck you, bipolar disorder, fuck you, impulsivity, fuck you, catalyst to a series of bad decisions that lead to my drug use, and fuck you, drugs. I do start again every day, and it is beautiful. I start again every day I make coffee for my dad instead of making hell. I start again every day I clock in at my job instead of slinging dope. I start again every day I tell myself I don't have to use today. I hit reply on the email and type, it's a beautiful day to kiss my ass. And I never send it because I really need my job. But as far as the job search is concerned, it's not a beautiful day to start again. So instead, I send myself an email that reads, it's a beautiful day to not get high.
Thank you so much.
Matt, it's been great to spend time with you. Thanks so much for sharing your story and your poems. Please come back when you have more poems. We really can't wait to hear them. And for our viewers, we appreciate you watching the Storytellers Lounge. If you have a chance, please comment and subscribe. Thank you so much.